Now, this year, the mayor says the city is facing a $700 million budget shortfall. And because of that, the Circulator bus service is on the chopping block. Jess Arnold listened in on the council hearing where they talked about it, and she joins us now live from a Circulator stop at 14th and U Streets in Northwest. Jess, this is get us up to speed on why the mayor wants to do this and what they would do instead.
Yeah, well, they said it's expensive to operate, that ridership has been continuously down over the last 5-ish years, and that obviously we're facing this major budget shortfall, so they had to make some tough cuts. Now, they said instead they're working with WMATA in the hopes that they will absorb most of these routes so that it doesn't fully impact, a ton of riders where they are left high and dry, but a plan hasn't been fully solidified yet.
Jess, didn't they propose a cut to this last year as well?
Yeah, that's right. And Councilmember Charles Allen, who heads the Transportation Committee, brought that up in yesterday's hearing. Last year, the mayor's team proposed cutting the service in half. The council pushed back on that and decided to fully fund it for another year. Now, Councilmember Allen said he had the expectation then that during this year, during that time, DDOT would be coming up with another plan in case we were faced with the same situation again on what the alternative would be if we did have to cut the service back, or as we're seeing now, cut it entirely. So he said he was frustrated that it seems like that plan is not in place yet, that they're still working to figure this out before after the council votes. He said he's not comfortable voting to cut the service entirely without knowing what the alternative will be. So here's what the acting director of the Department of Transportation had to say about that.
I remember the conversation from last year, so we did reach out to WMATA early on, even before decisions were final, to start talking through what a transition might look like and what might be able to be absorbed. That process is taking longer than anyone anticipated. So today, I do not have a plan in terms of how the routes will be absorbed by WMATA. I wish I did. I know that will provide some great comfort to people who are dependent on Circulator. But that said, we have a very willing and cooperative partner in WMATA, and we have our teams meet regularly to discuss this.
Now, she said WMATA asked to have until the summer to come up with a transition plan. Now, it's also worth noting that the DDOT director said they were also looking at having to replace buses and update garages over the next year if they kept Circulator going, which she said does not make sense with the ridership trend that they're seeing. Now, the data that DDOT provided showed in fiscal year 2019, ridership was at just under 5.7 million, and that in fiscal year 2023, it had dropped to just below $2 million. Now, under the mayor's current proposal, Circulator service would be ended by March 2025. So we'll have to see who ends up winning in this tug of war and if they can speed up that process of putting a logistical plan together if they do decide to cut the Circulator service. Guys.
All right, Jess Arnold.